besties, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kyan and this is Kyan is Booked. And wow, do I have a story for you. So I have been going on this grand reading adventure. One of my really good book bestie friends, Mare, has given me like I don't know, like 18 episodes worth of content of books that she like desperately wants me to read, and she's been trying to convince me to read some of them for, we won't admit how long, but let's just say for a while, right? Sorry, I was adjusting the stand. Also, I want to asterisk right now, it is the 31st of December and it is dark. Granted, only 6:30 p.m., but it's dark enough that my neighbors who've probably spent $20,000 on fireworks are going to begin. So I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible, but this vlog is probably the most chaotic vlog I will that I have posted on my channel so far, because I had a really like cute introduction for this video and it's not on my MacBook anymore. It's not on my external hard drive and it's not on my phone. So you'll see me later too, because I tell you it's the 31st as well then, because I lost the footage for my introduction, for Flawless, and then for Reckless. So I really wanted to get this up because I was really proud of myself for finishing Hopeless before the end of the year, because I was worried that as a mood reader, my mood wasn't gonna let me finish. Anyway, sorry, my iPhone footage, no, my phone storage was full. We're gonna get this vlog up, okay? So with all of that being said, you will see later in the vlog as well, literally like probably just like 10 minutes ago, I refilmed the footage for Reckless because I lost it. So now here I am ready to talk to you about Flawless. And not to, like, I guess pun intended, I found this book to be pretty flawless. I really enjoyed Summer and Rhett. I think too, I probably really enjoyed it because then later on we got Winter Story, and I just really liked how they evolved overall in the series from where we were here in Flawless all the way over to Reckless. And, you know, I really do love when, like, because, you know, all the Eaton brothers get married, obviously, like they find their soulmate, and Jasper, who's like an honorary Eaton anyways, he gets his soulmate as well finally. Jasper was in the lead for the longest. I want it on the record that like it took a lot, but like I just really couldn't stop thinking about Theo, and I couldn't stop thinking about Rhett, because I really just considered, because, you know, like we could always pick Cade, right? And we could always pick Bo. Like it just, for me, Rhett was just that constant for the family. Like, yeah, he was reckless and like he was always looking for the adrenaline high. Like, I mean, he's a bull rider, come on. And then he like wanted his agent's daughter, so like that forbidden aspect of things. And then he fought so hard not to fall for her, even though like she's hilarious and she's beautiful, and like he was captivated as soon as he met her. And then it was the, oh great, forced proximity type aspect, and I just ate it up. And then I ate up just how supportive he was, especially when he started to kind of learn the dynamics of her and Winter's relationship, the doctor who helped her with her condition, like what that looked like. And I just appreciated this man so much. I really did. And I'm not saying that there aren't enough Rhett groupies out there, but I also think that we're like not giving him his flowers. Like we're not recognizing him as much as we should be recognizing him. And what I mean by that is like it's easy to get caught up in Cade, and it's easy to get caught up in Jasper, and it's easy to get caught up in Theo, and it's even easy to get caught up in Bo. But like this man literally retired from bull riding, came back home, integrated himself back in the family, married the love of his life, starting their journey and like their family together, a constant for any of the brothers, always there to cause a scene when needed to cause a scene. And I think that we just don't give him as much credit as he deserves, because I really truly enjoyed Rhett. I think he has a great sense of humor. I think that his mentorship with Theo is arguably one of the cutest things. And I know men don't like to be called cute, but like I just thought it was so cute that like Theo was like, no, like I want you to mentor me, blah, 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 blah. And this whole time, like Rhett's like, you need to grow the F up. And it takes him falling in love with Winter to grow the F up. right? But I just think that like we don't necessarily appreciate this romance as much as we should. And like it's kind of funny too, because like this is in retrospective, like obviously we read this one first. So I fell in love with him for the first book, and then I was like, ooh, Cade. And then I was like, well, wait a second, like why don't people talk about Jasper enough? And then I was like, oh my God, my baby Theo. And then I waited with anticipation, right, for Beau. But like Rhett's been here the whole time, guys. Like he's there for his brothers, he's there for his dad, he's there for Summer, he's begrudgingly there for Winter because they have like a weird dynamic until they work their business out, right? So I think that we really should give Rhett more flowers, because I'm not saying he's like the backbone of the family, like let's not get too crazy there, but I am saying that sometimes he gets lost in like the shininess of the other guys. And I think that all of them have their own superlative. I think all of them have things that we can be talking about, but I really feel like we should appreciate Rhett for knowing he was in love with this woman, understanding how forbidden it was, and then finally just looking up one day and going, fuck it, like I love her. And I really do like too, like I love Summer because like she wants him, she knows she does, but she's like, ooh, I shouldn't. And it's just like the forbidden aspect of it was just so juicy. Like this is the first book too I ever read of Elsie Silver. So I read all the Chestnut Springs books this year, as you'll see in the rest of the vlog. And I almost feel like this one should go at the end because I feel like I've talked about all the guys at this point, but obviously I go more in depth in a little bit. But I just think, and I'm going to end it here because like I don't want to keep rambling about this, but Rhett deserves all the flowers, and I think he deserves his own fan club just as much as, oh my gosh, what's going on with this one piece of hair? Just as much as the rest of the guys do, even if it's just for being like that steady rock. So now I'm going to get off my soapbox and I'm going to go download this to my Mac and shove it into the editing, so you can see it tonight. And, you know, I hope you guys have a wonderful new year. And please enjoy the past clips of me, just raving, right? And just, yes. Anyways, okay, bye. All right, as promised, I am here to talk about my thoughts on Heartless and Powerless by Elsie Silver. So this is obviously, we're doing the Chestnut Springs vlog, which I'm really, really excited about it. This vlog series, I'm just excited about the entire vlog series in general. But like, let's discuss for a second how I'm coming to you after I finished reading them, because I basically didn't stop reading them long enough to like update. So we'll start with Willa and Cade, in Heartless. Guys, I get it. I get why everybody's obsessed with Daddy Cade, okay? Also too, I'm just gonna let you know, like, this is completely like spoilery. I will not be holding back on anything. I will be giving all of my thoughts. So if you haven't read the Chestnut Springs series, I highly recommend just clicking out of this vlog, because I will ruin some of these moments and some of these revelations for you that are not publicly posted on Book Talk, Instagram, etc., etc. So if you're not wanting to be spoiled, I highly recommend just clicking out and saving this for a later date. I mean, you can like it though. Like, don't feel like you can't. So I immediately liked the fact that there was tension. Like, I wouldn't say they like hated each other. I don't really feel like Cade ever really hated Willa. To be honest with you, I think there was just like some tension in their interactions there for the beginning. I loved that her and his son got along like so well, like instantly. And I think that's obviously, I think we could all agree that's probably what swayed Cade there for a little bit, was the fact that his son really did love her so much. And we knew the attraction there was there from the beginning. And I want you to know that I've never wanted a hot tub so much in my life, and a man to do things to me inside hot tub, because those hot tub scenes, even the ones where like nothing happened, it happened, okay? Like, we all know it happened. And I'm obsessed. I will never get over how bossy he is. I will never get over his take control attitude, like in the bedroom and just like in life in general. But I think the biggest thing for me, and like what I really want to like talk about, what I really want to like bring to the light here for a second, is the fact that like Willa and Cade are so perfect for each other because Willa recognizes what's inside Cade and Cade recognizes what's inside Willa. Like, we knew this man was in love with her chapters before everything went down, like chapters. But he knew her well enough to know that he couldn't push too hard too fast or she was gonna run. And then what happens when things all came down? She ran. Now, he let her there for a little bit because he understood that she needed to process, but he wasn't going to let her run away. And I appreciate the fact that, like, he recognized that as much as he wanted to go and he wanted to just take control and, like, fix everything for her, that he had to give her the time to breathe. And God, we love a man who can do that, don't we? I love a man who can do that. The scene where she gets sick and, like, he takes care of her. Okay, like, it's just, that's the hardest part, I think, for me, is, like, just the small moments. You know what I mean? Because, like, I would love for somebody to take care of me when I'm sick, but it's just me. So here I like, if I throw up somewhere that's off the toilet, I have to clean it up. And, like, her being, like, absolutely mortified and him being like, I'm really not that worried about it, and just, like, caring for her was, to me, one of, like, the best moments between the two of them. And I know there's so many to pick in this book because they really are just perfect for each other. But I really liked that moment because I think that, like, that's kind of where everything started to turn for Cade. And he just didn't, like, recognize it at the time. But he surely got on Team Willa pretty fast there. And I was really, like, I figured something was going to happen, speaking of the being sick scene, something was going to happen with her birth control. And I was really, really nervous because I wasn't sure that I was going to like the fact that there was going to be a baby in this situation, but I didn't feel like it was, like, a really negative, like, secret baby scenario. I felt like it was very true to their relationship, how he found out and how Willa reacted and how he reacted. And I appreciate Willa for recognizing that she didn't want to force him into doing the right thing for the second time, because it did not work out for him the first time around, obviously. But, I mean, obviously he was with the wrong woman. Anyway, but her leaving and trying to get her head straight and, like, giving time, like, Cade time to think, but she wasn't on the same page with him, because we know chapters before, like, he knows that he's in love with her. He doesn't want to scare her. The baby comes into the scenario and he's like, oh, hell yeah, like, I love this woman. Obviously, I want her to have my baby. Obviously, I want to spend the rest of my life with her. And Willa's like, hang on a second, like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And it was that moment where he's like, oh, well, you know, I probably should have said this earlier. And she's like, I don't want you to feel like you have to do the right thing. And he's like, bitch, I'm in love with you. And I just felt like it was very true to, like, their relationship, and, like, very true to who Cade was as the main character and who Willa was as her character. Like, I feel like their reactions and the way the situation was handled and ultimately how they ended up back together was very much true to them as characters, but, like, also true to them as a couple, because we know that Cade is very much scarred from his previous marriage, because he's out there working on the ranch, like, providing for the family, like, taking care of his son, taking care of his wife, and it wasn't good enough. And I can understand why then in his heart he would feel like Willa would feel the same way. But I really like the fact that she had the opportunity to prove him wrong. And guys, I understand why you guys talk so much about Daddy Cade. Like, I cannot, like, some of the things he says, and I'm not going to repeat them because, like, you know, we all know what he said. And if you don't read the books, we all know he's a wonderful man. We all know who he is. And I just love the fact that Willa got past the age in her mind, got past wanting to be the city girl, and realized that the only place she wanted to be was with this super grumpy rancher who wasn't necessarily super grumpy for her. And even when he is, she's like, what's up? But I loved it. It was definitely 5 stars for me. So I finished Heartless, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, let's just start Jasper's book, right? I was like, I'm just going to start it. I'll update the vlog tomorrow, because I was already in bed when I finished. I was like, oh, it's cool, blah, blah, blah. I'll update the vlog tomorrow. Y'all, I stayed up till like 1 something in the morning, went to school on like 4 hours of sleep the next day with kids. Why don't y'all talk about Jasper more? Because I'm going to start talking about him a lot. I am going to probably make people sick with the amount of Jasper talk that I'm going to have from Powerless, because y'all need to give my man Jasper more credit, because I read what I read and he said what he said, okay? I don't even know where to start. Let's start with the fact that he's been in love with Sloan since literally they met. And he... You know who the real villain here is? Sloane's dad, okay? And I understand that Sloane doesn't realize it and she wants to believe that, like, daddy has her back. But daddy told the man that you were in love with that he wasn't good enough for you and that he would never be good enough for you, and that's why he stepped back. Because you know what? My man Jasper, he had a really shitty childhood and he believed those things about himself. So when somebody else said it about him, he was like, yeah, dude, you're not wrong. Like, I get it. And... I was so mad when I figured that out, because like there's no reason why he has feelings for her, and like he wouldn't, and it didn't make sense, and the dots weren't connecting until he told Sloane the truth. And I was just like, so really the person we should be mad at right now is your dad, Sloane, and you should be mad at him too, because that's why Jasper walked away, right? That's why you found out that he had a tattoo from your first principal ballerina dancing on his side, because he didn't want to show up, because he didn't want to ruin opening night for you. That's why you found out later that he's been in love with you this entire time, and he didn't want to say anything because he believed what your dad said, and he believed he wasn't good enough for you. Sloane, get your head out of your tutu and claim your man, okay? Because we all know he's here for you. We all know he's here for you. Sweetheart, he said toss the ring and crawl. The gasp that I gasped, and then the scream that I screamed. I woke my poor dog up, okay? Because when Jasper dropped the walls and the facade and he said, I'm coming for you, he came. And that scene lives rent-free in my head. Like, rent-free in my head. The fact that he said, take that ring off and crawl over here. I would have done the same thing. Whoop! Tossed it right across the room. Okay? Tossed it. Because you know what happened, Daddy dearest? You told a man who was perfect for your daughter that he wasn't good enough, and then shoved her in the arms of a man who was horrible to her and just tried to destroy her self-esteem and tried to make her less than who she is, Daddy dearest. And you did that. Jasper didn't. Because all Jasper wants to do is love your daughter. All Jasper wants to do is have babies with her. And all Jasper wants to do is make her happy. And you know what? I know why he did it. I know why he said, okay, and I know he walked away, because he wants nothing but the best for Sloane. And I'm so happy that he finally realized that he's the best for her, okay? And I don't know why I'm whispering, because we all know he is, okay? But I'm going to say it again for some of y'all in the back. Why aren't we talking about Jasper more? What? Y'all read what I read? You read what he said? He said, you're mine. Are we arguing with the man? Are we going to tell him he's wrong? Are you going to tell me I'm wrong? That scene. Listen, so sorry. Didn't mean to bring that up. But I said what I said. Like, I couldn't even handle it. I set my Kindle down for a second and was like, and here's the bigger issue here, guys, is I was thinking at the end, like I would do a separate video, right? And I would tier rank all of the books in this series, but how do you tier rank perfection? Like, how do you tier rank at a 5-star series? Like, because here's the thing, I still have to read Theo, and then we all know Bo's coming out later, and Bo has the opportunity to just unseat everybody. And how am I going to feel then? How am I going to handle that then? I don't know. But all I know is we need to be talking about Jasper more, because he deserves a little bit more respect. I'm going to pick up, is it Reckless? It's Reckless. Theo Winter's book. I'm reserving judgment, because a lot of people that I trust from a review perspective said that they absolutely love Theo and Winter. And I'm assuming Winter gets a redemption arc, and I'm assuming she is redeemed. So I'm very excited to start reading that. I wish I could hold off until Bo's book came out and like add this into the vlog, but like I'm impatient and I just want to get the vlog up, because I really need to start this conversation about Jasper, because he deserves the world, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm willing to give it to him. So follow me on Instagram if you want to see me post about Jasper incessantly, because he is that man and I am that bitch. Okay? So I'm going to go start reading Theo in Winter, and I'm really hoping it's not going to make me angry. But I trust all of you, which can be good and also dangerous at the same time. Y'all, I am so devastated right now. So it's December 31st, 2023, and I have been on my computer, my MacBook. I'm gonna fix my hair real quick so it doesn't look quite so janky. And I've been digging for the film that I know I filmed on Reckless, right? Because I really, like, today I wanted to get the vlog up because I finished Hopeless, and I was like, oh my gosh, it'd be so cool. Like, I didn't know if I was gonna finish it this year because of like my ruined reading tendencies. And I was like, oh my gosh, I finished Hopeless, like, and I can't find where I know I recorded about this book because Theo's my favorite. And I had so much to say about this book, and I'm devastated because I'm like worried that I'm not gonna say everything I need to say in this like re-record, because it was like fresh. I just finished the book when I recorded it, so I remembered everything. So like I said, Theo and Winter ended up being my favorite couple, which on the onset of everything, I didn't think that I was going to pick them as my favorite couple. I know a lot of people probably will agree with me, won't agree with me, et cetera, but like I identified with Winter so much because when I kind of look at our sister dynamics, because I have a younger sister, I feel as though like I'd be the Winter in this situation. Not necessarily that like I'm a complete bitch, but just in the sense that like my overthinking and my anxiety and the way I interact with people doesn't always translate the best way. And sometimes I feel like I'm in a situation and it feels like it's spiraling out of control, but I didn't mean for it to spiral out of control. So I just like really identified with Winter and how she's just like, I just didn't see my life going like this. Like, she just got out of a really horrible relationship. Feel her. She desperately wants children, but she's not sure she's ever going to be able to have them because she's not with anybody, and she doesn't want to be a single mom, but at the same time, like, she wants kids. Feel her. And she just feels so lost in the way that only Winter can feel lost, right? Like, it's not like she's telling anybody. It's not like she's like opening up about it. It's just that we know this because like we're in her head. It's from her perspective. And I always knew I was gonna like Theo because obviously we got Rhett's book first, and like that's where we meet Theo. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was kind of hoping that him and Winter were gonna end up together because I felt like he was gonna be perfect for her. And then we got their book, and he really was, guys. Like, he was just so, I say this until I'm blue in the face, and it's a hill I'm willing to die on because I've heard so much about like how I have a strong personality and I'm so independent and I'm this and I'm that, and it's like, it's always been like, oh, you're too much. But and that's just Belle moving around. Sorry, it's dark-ish in here, I guess. And she's an all black lamb. So anyway, and so I've heard all these things like about me personally. So like when Winter starts explaining or like starts thinking about things and starts overthinking things, like I just felt so like, I'm like, yeah, no, I totally understand that. But then here comes Theo, right? And he's just like, God, I love this woman. Like, she's just so feisty and sassy and like knows who she is. And I just like, he loved fighting with her. And I know that you're probably like, girl, that's toxic, but like not in that sense. Like, she would get overwhelmed by something or like something would happen and like he'd pick at her and she'd flip out and he'd just be like, mm-hmm. And there she is. Like, mm-hmm, that's my woman. Like, I say this all the time because like the reason why, and I'm sorry, you're probably gonna hear fireworks because it just got dark enough and my neighbors are crazy, but I have to get this done. Still devastated I lost the footage. But anyways, I say this about all of my favorite heroes because like I do have a trend. I appreciate a man who looks at the woman that he is in love with and never asks her to change. maybe she's a little bit extra about something. Maybe she's prickly about certain things. Maybe she does this. Maybe she does that. But I can guarantee you she's been told all the time about like how she's just too much. And I love that Theo never felt that way about Winter. Ever. Right? And the secret baby in this, because that's not... Oh, yeah, no, but that little plus sign, it says it right there at the end of the verb. I couldn't remember. Granted, too, like, this has been out for a little while now, so, like, we all know that they had a baby together. Gosh. Oh, my gosh. Anyways, I'm not going to get distracted. Now that I'm talking about it, I really want to reread it because I just loved this relationship so much. But obviously, like, we know that, like, a situation happens with him not showing up right away when Winter lets him know that she's pregnant. We find out what happens with that. Complete BS. I'm so glad they fired that guy. And then, like, he's 100% in on it. But what I love so much about this, and Winter doesn't know this obviously because we only see it from Theo's point of view until like his mom comes into town, but like when he calls his mom and he's like, Mom, like I feel like I found her. So Winter's her prickly self. They get into this huge fight and Theo in the back of his head is just like, yeah, that's the woman I'm gonna marry. And I just adore it. And then watching him like become a dad, it was just everything that like I feel like I would want in a situation like that. Like he just loves that baby so much and he never questions it because the baby takes after him so much, right? And Winter's like you can have a paternity test, whatever. And he's like, no, that's my kid. And then like there's one scene in here where, and I want to flip through to like quote it correctly. But they're at dinner. Okay, babies put Winter's attention. No, okay, so like I feel like you guys are like, is she gonna find it? I don't know, am I? No. I really don't. Come on. I know it's right here. It's at this dinner. Okay, hang on. I'm going to pause for a second and I'm going to find it. And then I'm going to pop back up. Guys, I found it. Okay, so they're at the eat-in dinner. So like Theo's obviously in town or whatever. And Vivi, the baby, has been going and like they all know about him because they helped Winter. Like she like moved in with the fam and stuff. So here we are at the dinner, right? And Rhett's asking Theo, he's like, well, when did you find out about this? Like referring to the child. About a week ago is what Theo says. And then Rhett turns his attention to me. You didn't tell him or anyone. You've known all this time and you didn't say anything. There's disbelief in his voice, but also accusation. Of course he'd think the worst of me. I might be sitting at the table with his family, but I'm not one of them. No matter what I do, they'll always regard me with a hint of suspicion. Theo snaps his fingers over the table, drawing his mentor's attention back to him. He went from looking amused to downright murderous. Watch your fucking tone when you're talking to the mother of my child. Y'all, watch your fucking tone when you're talking to the mother of my child, okay? And that's what sealed it, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I love Daddy Cade. Don't get me wrong. I love Jasper. Like, there was not a book in this series that I didn't love. But Theo, that's my woman. That's my woman. That's my woman. Theo, I'm sorry. He's elite, okay? Because we all talk about Daddy Cade, but like, what about Daddy Theo? Because he signed a little contract saying that he wasn't going to fall in love with this woman, but he was already in love with her. In love with her for exactly who she was, guys. Anyway, there's nothing you can tell me about him. He's amazing. And I'm kind of bummed I had to re-record this footage, but I don't know. It was kind of nice at the same time. But yeah, I'll have a video coming out later where I rank the Chestnut Springs couples, but you heard it here first if you're watching this vlog. They're my favorite. So next you're gonna see like past me talking about Hopeless, because I didn't delete that footage accidentally, just my reckless footage. So please enjoy my thoughts on Bo and Bailey. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I come to you with finally an update of starting Hopeless. I'm this far, so that's page 388, and there's 465 pages in this one. So this follows Bo and Bailey. And if you've been following along, well, obviously if you made it to this point, then you know that I have highly anticipated Bo's book, because he's the type of hero, like he's my type, basically. Like the scarred, like military hero who, like, you know, had to leave the military but doesn't really know where he fits in anywhere else and is like trying to find his way. Definitely my type. So with that being said, I want to talk a little bit about this. So like, we know, we've met Bailey Jensen multiple times. Like her family name's notorious in town because her dad and brothers are like druggies and drug addicts and alcoholics and all this kind of stuff, right? And like, she's a younger sister, youngest daughter, the only daughter in the entire family. And she's the only one who doesn't have these problems, but she can't get past her last name, right? So this is when Bo comes in. Bo's just like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, nobody judges you based off your last name. She's like, huh, yeah, okay. And he goes, okay, well, like, just take my last name and it'll fix everything. What turns out to be like a fake engagement is obviously probably going to morph into something more. Like I said, I've still got like 100 pages left in the book. And I'm not going to lie, this is like one of my most anticipated books of the year because I finally got caught up in time for this book to release. The problem is I waited after the weekend of release and started seeing like what everybody was saying about the book. And like, I scared myself into not wanting to read it because a lot of people felt like it was a letdown. And I'm about 100 pages out from the end. I have a bad feeling that there's going to be like a third act breakup, which I don't feel like there needs to be a third act breakup. I feel like they're doing okay right now. It was a slow burn. It's been very like nice, and I like where Bo's head is at. I just wish that like he would communicate with her a little bit more. And like, we're finally to the point where like he is communicating with her, so I love that for him. I just like, I'm not necessarily 100% behind Bailey. And before anybody comes for me, like, I don't dislike her. I just, like, we just focus so much on her. And what I was really excited about in reading this book is getting to know Bo more and like understanding him more, because he's been present in like all the brothers books, obviously, and especially, he wasn't as super present in Jasper's book, and like, we know why, but like, him and Jasper are best friends, like best friends. And I guess I want more of him and like less of her. Like, girl, we get it. Nobody likes you. Like, I don't hate her. Like, I don't care that she's a Jensen. Like, all I see is that like, she's working hard. She's trying to make her way in life. Like, she wants to be successful. But unfortunately, like in small towns, people can be really judgmental. And like, I don't even live in a small town and people can be judgmental. So I get the damage, but like, what about him? Like, he's going through a lot too, but I really feel like it's skewed more towards like her perspective and her trauma versus like a middle ground where we do both. I will say though, like, I like the fact that she like never pushes him to talk about things that like he's not ready to talk about. His family is like, they're all very close, and like, it's kind of how like I imagine my family, because like, when things happen, like, we don't always know how to be supportive of each other in the right way, and like, we smother. And like, you know, that's his biggest issue is like, they're smothering him right now. He doesn't want to talk about it. Like, he needs to figure out who he is like outside of his job, which defined him for his entire adult life, and they don't understand that about him. And I think though, like if he would just open his mouth and say something to his family, I don't think that like they wouldn't not understand. But, you know, like he doesn't want to make them feel bad. Like he doesn't want to hurt their feelings. Like and I get it. I totally understand it. I just wish like we got more insight into it. And I just wish that it was less of him focused on Bailey and less of Bailey focused on Bailey. And before anybody comes for me, like I know that she's focused on him and I know she's supportive of him, and I'm not talking mess about her. Like I don't dislike her. I just think that like there's not quite enough of a balance between the sharing of trauma as it was written. Like we know Beau's been through a lot. Like hello, like we all know what he's been through. If you're not reading this as a standalone and you've read all the way through the series, and like you know. But I just think that like I would have liked to be less about like what makes Bailey happy and more about like what makes both of them happy. Like I said, I'm having a great time. Like it is a solid read for me. Will it be a 5-star? Probably not, because like I wanted more, I wanted more, like I wanted to understand him better, and I feel like I understand him okay, but I don't feel like anything's really been crazy revealed that I'm like, wow, okay, like I totally get it. And I feel like that's like the one thing that's missing for me. And also too, like I don't necessarily think Bailey's his best match. Like I don't hate her. I don't know. I feel kind of crazy trying to like express my feelings and like my opinions right now, because it's like I can't pinpoint what I'm not loving about it. I just like, and this is why I hate hyped books. Not hate them, but this is why I struggle with them, because it's like when I hype it up and I have expectations for it, then it becomes something like this. But I am having a great time with it. I am going to finish it. I am going to rate it 4 stars or higher. Like I am really, really enjoying it and really, really liking it. I just like, I wanted something more, and that's it. But what is that more? I don't know. So anyway, that's my update. I'll be back once I finish to give you my final thoughts and to obviously wrap up the entire vlog, because we made it. I'm gonna do a separate video ranking the couples. I'm not gonna do it at the end of this one like I was talking about earlier. I am gonna rank them differently. Also too, like this is why I film at night, because I don't have to worry about like what my skylights are doing in the middle of the day. But I wanted to go ahead and get this done. So, because I wanna be able to read the rest of it. Here I am. All right, cool. I'll see you in a little bit. All right, y'all. I'm back with my final thoughts on Hopeless. So just like every book in the Chestnut Springs series, I have had like a great time reading this book, right? And I will say I started reading once Reckless was published. So the only book that I had to wait on was Beau's book. But he was my most anticipated, and which makes saying this like really difficult for me, but being my most anticipated, he did not end up being my favorite. Now, I liked the story. I liked seeing him start to make decisions for himself and not necessarily like what he thinks everybody else around him like wanted him to do. So I really liked that aspect of it. I just, like, I wanted to see him more. I feel like we got a lot of like Bailey's trauma, which like, don't get me like wrong. It is so traumatic and I feel so bad for her. And I desperately want her to have a different like future, which I think is she's going to be able to have with Beau. And I was interested in her, but I still feel like we only got a surface view of Beau, and that it just really upsets me because I wanted him to be my favorite. And if you would ask any of my friends, like he was going to be my favorite. Like he's my type. He's tortured. He has like a savior complex. Like he was in the military. Like he has this like alpha male persona about him. So like he was teed up to be everything I wanted and more. But for whatever reason, I just felt like we got more of her. And I didn't, like, I thought she was awkward. And I thought that, like, sometimes the scenes between them were a little misplaced almost. Like she was just saying things for like the sake of saying things. And like she had this like whole like, oh, I say things for like the shock value and all of that. But I just feel like even then it didn't feel like genuine, right? I mean, it's still a 4-star. Like I still love it. I still think that was a very good conclusion to all of Chestnut Springs. I really wanted to dive deep into who Bo was. Like we got that from our other heroes. Like we got that from Rhett. We got that from Cade. We got that from Jasper. I mean, Theo even. Like we got so much of our heroes in those books. So like when I walked into this one, like I expected the same thing. And then it really just became about her. And it just wasn't necessarily what I was anticipating or like what I wanted, right? Like I said, it's a solid 4 stars. I really enjoyed their story. Like they're gonna live happily ever after. I hope we get glimpses of them as Elsie writes her next series, which is gonna feature Willa's brother. I think it's Ford, if I remember correctly, but I could be totally wrong about his name. So I by no means am saying like, don't read this book. I am by no means saying that like it was a horrible addition to the series, because it's not. Guys, I read the whole thing and it's like almost 500 pages. It's just like, I wanted Bo to have his moment, and I felt like he had like small snippets, right? But not necessarily like those moments that I was looking for. And that could just be my expectations. I didn't dislike it. Like I really enjoyed myself. Like he is fun, flirty, lives life, you know, by the seat, like not by the seat of his pants, but like he's trying to find himself again after being discharged from the military. And like, I just really enjoyed it. But I just wanted so much more because it was Bo. But enough about that. Like I really did enjoy it. I really did enjoy reading like Chestnut Springs as a whole, so much that I'm going to be doing a couple ranking video, kind of like I did for The Fallen Men, obviously before Caution to the Wind was released, and I'll link that up here if you're interested in seeing my Fallen Men ratings pre Caution to the Wind. I had a great time with that. I actually have a bunch of series that I want to do couple ratings for, so probably the next one up is going to be Chestnut Springs, and I am interested to see where everybody else would think their favorite couples land on my list, but also too, like, do we have the same? So to wrap it all up, to sum it all up, if you will, I had a great time with the Chestnut Springs series. Thank you so much to Mare for putting it on the list of like all these books that I need to read. Her like push into like me doing this video series really did get me to read the books. And so like now I feel like I can be like on the same bandwagon as everybody else in loving Chestnut Springs and in loving the world that Elsie Silver is able to create for us. So that's all I got, guys. I can't believe I'm closing out another vlog. I will say I'm super proud of myself for closing this vlog out before the end of 2023, because I was really worried that we were going to carry this into 2024. So 2 thumbs up for me. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you'll see the next vlog that's going up. I don't know which one it is. Me being a mood reader, like I just go where my heart leads me to go. So thank you so much for watching. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.